I discovered my mother had drained my savings account to fund my sister's European vacation while I was working double shifts to pay for nursing school. The woman who taught me about responsibility and sacrifice had stolen $18,000 from her own daughter. I thought I knew my family, thought I understood where I stood in their priorities, but finding that bank statement changed everything I believed about love, loyalty, and the price of being the responsible child. What I did next tore our family apart, exposed decades of lies, and left my mother begging for forgiveness she would never receive. This is the story of how I learned that sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who hurt you deepest, and why walking away was the only choice I had left. But before we continue, check if you are already subscribed to the channel and write in the comments where you are watching this video from. I stare at the Wells Fargo statement in my trembling hands, the numbers blurring through tears of rage and disbelief. Account balance, $237. 3 months ago, it held $18,412. Every penny earned through 16-hour nursing shifts, weekend doubles, and holidays spent caring for strangers instead of celebrating with family. The ATM receipt from last Tuesday shows a withdrawal of $8,000. My signature, but not my handwriting. The pen strokes are too loose, the loops too wide. I know this handwriting better than my own. Mom. My apartment feels smaller suddenly, the walls pressing closer as reality settles like concrete in my chest. The woman who raised me to believe in hard work and financial responsibility has been systematically draining my account for months. Small amounts at first, 200 here, 500 there. Amounts I might not notice while focused on finals and clinical rotations, but $8,000 for what? My phone buzzes with a text from my younger sister Emma. Bonjour from Paris. Mom was so amazing to help with this trip. Living my best life. The photo shows her at the Eiffel Tower, designer sunglasses catching the afternoon light, holding a shopping bag from Louis Vuitton. My $18,000 of blood, sweat, and missed sleep converted into Emma's Instagram content. The nursing school tuition payment is due next week. Without that money, I cannot finish my final semester. 4 years of education, 4 years of sacrifice, 4 years of believing that if I worked hard enough, saved smart enough, planned carefully enough, everything would work out. I call the bank first. Ma'am, all withdrawals were made with proper identification and signature authorization, the representative explains with professional sympathy. The account holder listed is Sarah Chen, but there's a joint access agreement signed 18 months ago. 18 months ago. Right after Dad's heart attack, when Mom convinced me to add her name just in case of emergency. The emergency that never came, except apparently Emma needed spending money for Europe. My hands shake as I screenshot Emma's social media posts. 5-star hotels in Rome, shopping sprees in Milan, Michelin-starred restaurants in Barcelona, a 3-week vacation that cost more than most people make in 6 months, funded entirely by my stolen future. The apartment door slams behind me with finality as I drive toward the house I grew up in. The house where family comes first was carved into my DNA from birth. Mom's Honda sits in the driveway of our modest suburban home, the same car she has driven for 8 years because we need to be practical with money. The irony tastes like battery acid on my tongue. The porch light glows yellow against the November evening, welcoming and warm. A lie. Like everything else, she opens the door before I knock, as if she sensed my approach. Rachel, sweetie, what a nice surprise. Come in, I just made coffee. Her voice carries that familiar maternal warmth, the same tone she used when I skinned my knees or failed a test, the tone that once meant safety and comfort. Where's my money, Mom? I step into the foyer without removing my jacket. The family photos lining the hallway mock me now. Every school play, every graduation, every achievement documented and displayed. The daughter who did everything right, who followed every rule, who trusted blindly. Her face shifts, concern morphing into something harder. What are you talking about? But her eyes dart toward the kitchen, avoiding mine. The tell she never knew she had. The same unconscious gesture she made when she lied about eating the last piece of pie or forgetting to pay a bill. $18,000, Mom. My nursing school fund. My future. My money that somehow magically appeared in Emma's European bank account. I pull out the printed statements, spreading them across the coffee table like evidence at a crime scene. She sits heavily in Dad's old recliner, her shoulders sagging. For a moment, she looks older than her 58 years. You don't understand the situation, Rachel. Emma needed this opportunity. She's been so depressed since the divorce. And you know how hard it's been for her to find herself? Find herself? My voice cracks like a whip. With my money? Money I earned working nights and weekends while she posted selfies and complained about her feelings. Family comes first, she says, the phrase that defined my childhood. We help each other. You've always been so strong, so capable. You'll figure something out. You always do. The familiar weight of expectation settles on my shoulders, the burden I have carried since childhood. Be strong. Be capable. Be the one who sacrifices so others can shine. The good daughter who asks for nothing and gives everything. I added you to the account for emergencies, Mom. Not so you could fund Emma's vacation while I'm eating ramen to save money for tuition. She stands abruptly, moving toward the kitchen with sharp, agitated steps. You're being dramatic. It's just money. Family relationships matter more than money. Just money. 4 years of sleep deprivation and aching feet. 4 years of choosing textbooks over social life. 4 years of believing that sacrifices today meant security tomorrow. Just money. Just money? I follow her into the kitchen, my voice rising despite my efforts to stay controlled. Mom, that was my entire nursing school fund. Without it, I cannot finish my degree. Do you understand what that means? She busies herself at the sink, washing dishes that appear already clean. Her movements are sharp, defensive. You're being overdramatic. There are loans, scholarships, payment plans. You're smart. You will figure it out. I already applied for everything available. The waiting lists are years long. The private loan interest rates are 23%. I would be paying them back until I'm 60. My voice breaks on the last word. The financial reality I calculated months ago, when I first researched alternatives to my savings plan. Well, maybe you should have thought about that before choosing such an expensive career path. Her words hit like physical blows. The same woman who bragged to neighbors about her daughter, the future nurse, who posted my acceptance letter on Facebook, who told everyone how proud she was of my ambition. You encouraged me to go to nursing school. You said it was practical, stable, that you were proud of me for choosing something meaningful. She turns from the sink, dish towel clutched in white-knuckled fists. I never told you to be so obsessed with money, to hoard it away like some miser while your sister struggled. Struggled with what? Emma has never held a job longer than 6 months. She lives in your basement rent-free. She drives the car you co-signed for and never makes payments on. What exactly is she struggling with besides the consequences of her own choices? She's sensitive. She needs support to find her path in life. You've always been independent, even as a child. You never needed as much from us. The familiar refrain, the excuse that justified decades of unequal treatment. Rachel does not need help. Rachel figures things out. Rachel is strong enough to handle disappointment. Rachel always comes second because Rachel can survive it. So you stole from me to enable her? My hands shake as I pull out my phone, scrolling to Emma's latest Instagram post. The photo shows her holding champagne in what appears to be a first-class airplane seat. Look at this, Mom. Look at what my sacrifice bought. She glances at the phone, then turns away. She deserves happiness too. With my money I earned, money I needed for my education. The kitchen feels smaller, the air thicker. 25 years of swallowing disappointment, of accepting less, of believing that being the good daughter would eventually matter. You'll manage, she says quietly. You always do. The dismissal in her voice, the casual certainty that I will absorb this betrayal like I absorbed every other inequity, ignites something dangerous in my chest. I drive home through empty suburban streets, my mind churning with emotions too complex to untangle. Betrayal, rage, heartbreak, and something else. Something that feels like liberation. For the first time in my adult life, I see my family clearly, not through the lens of obligation or love, but with the stark clarity of financial theft and emotional manipulation. Back in my apartment, I spread the bank statements across my kitchen table alongside my laptop. The evidence tells a story of systematic deception. The first withdrawal happened 6 months ago, $300 labeled as emergency car repair. I remember that day. Mom called, crying about unexpected expenses, how tight money was since Dad's reduced hours after his heart attack. I sent an additional $500 from my checking account that same week. Money I earned waiting tables between classes. Money I planned to use for textbooks. The car repair that never happened because there was never a broken car. Just the first test to see if I would notice, if I would question. The pattern escalates from there. Larger amounts, more frequent withdrawals, always with plausible explanations that I never question because you do not question your mother. You trust family. Family comes first. My phone rings. Emma, calling from Paris at 3 in the morning her time. I let it go to voicemail, then listened to her breathless excitement about the Louvre, about meeting some French artist who might help her career, about how this trip is changing her life. My stolen money, changing her life while destroying mine. But listening to her voice, something shifts. The rage crystallizes into something colder, more focused. Emma does not know where the money came from. In her mind, Mom simply helped her out again, the way Mom always helps Emma, while leaving me to help myself. Emma is not the villain here. She is the pampered beneficiary of a system I finally understand completely. I open my laptop and begin researching. Elder financial abuse laws in our state, civil theft statutes, small claims court procedures, criminal fraud requirements. The internet provides a roadmap for seeking justice when family becomes predator. My phone buzzes with a text from Mom. I hope you understand this was all about keeping our family together. Emma needed this chance to grow. You're strong enough to handle this setback, strong enough to handle theft, strong enough to sacrifice my future for Emma's happiness, strong enough to absorb betrayal and smile through the pain, because that is what the responsible daughter does, but not anymore. 25 years of being strong enough ends tonight. I spend the weekend digging deeper into our family's financial history, armed with my joint account access and years of tax documents Mom asked me to help organize. What I find makes my stomach turn. The pattern of financial manipulation runs deeper than Emma's European vacation. The medical bills from Dad's heart attack, paid entirely from my savings account over 6 months through small, unnoticed withdrawals. The roof repair last spring, funded by my money while Mom told neighbors how grateful she was for the home equity loan. Emma's car payments, her credit card debt, even the family vacation to Florida 2 years ago that I could not afford to join. My money, used to maintain the illusion of family financial stability while I ate generic cereal and wore scrubs with holes in the knees to save every possible penny for school. The ledger I create tells a stark story. $26,000 stolen over 18 months. $26,000 that should have covered not just my final semester, but also licensing fees, a down payment on a reliable car, and the security deposit on a better apartment closer to potential job opportunities. My laptop screen glows in the pre-dawn darkness as I document every transaction, every date, every lie. The evidence forms a timeline of betrayal that would make prosecutors salivate, but criminal charges feel insufficient. Prison would not restore my money or my education. Criminal charges would not address the decades of emotional manipulation that made this theft possible. I need something more personal, more precise. The idea comes while reviewing Emma's social media posts. Each photo, each check-in, each gleeful update about her life-changing experience. She has documented every dollar I earned, broadcasting my sacrifice to hundreds of followers who hearts and shares her happiness. Emma returns home in 4 days. She has already posted about being sad to leave Europe, about wishing she could stay longer, about how this trip has inspired her to pursue her dreams. My stolen dreams, funding her inspiration. Mom's text from yesterday evening still glows on my phone. I know you're angry, but you'll see this was the right thing for our family. Emma is already talking about art school applications. This trip gave her direction. Art school, more expenses, more family meetings about supporting Emma's dreams, while Rachel, as always, supports herself. But Rachel is done supporting anyone but herself. Rachel has a plan now. Rachel is about to become someone her family will not recognize. Monday morning brings a call from my academic advisor. Rachel, we need to discuss your tuition payment schedule. The final semester balance is due in 72 hours, and financial aid shows no pending disbursements. I understand, Dr. Martinez. There's been a family financial situation. I need to explore alternative payment options. The words taste like admission of defeat, but they are also bait. I'm sorry to hear that. Would you like me to connect you with our emergency financial aid counselor? Sometimes there are last-minute scholarship opportunities or extended payment plans. Yes, please. I'll try anything. The conversation ends with an appointment scheduled for Wednesday morning. Perfect timing. I call Mom that evening, letting my voice carry just the right amount of defeat and desperation. Mom, I met with my advisor today about the tuition situation. Oh, Rachel, I was hoping you would find a solution by now. Her voice holds manufactured concern, as if my financial crisis is some unfortunate coincidence rather than the direct result of her theft. They're going to drop me from the program if I cannot pay by Thursday. 4 years of work, gone. I let the silence stretch. Let her fill it with whatever rationalization will help her sleep at night. Oh, honey, I'm sure there's some way to work it out. Maybe a loan? I tried. My credit is not good enough for private loans without a cosigner. The The payment would be $8,000 to keep my spot in the program, the exact amount of her final withdrawal, the one that paid for Emma's first-class flights and luxury hotels. 8,000? That's so much money. The irony would be funny if it were not so devastating. Mom, I hate to ask this, but is there any way you could help? Just a loan? I'd pay you back as soon as I graduate and start working. I'm desperate. The pause stretches long enough for me to count my own heartbeat. Then, her voice soft with regret. Oh, Rachel, I wish I could. Money is just so tight right now with your father's medical bills and everything. We're barely keeping our heads above water. The lie slides out smooth as silk. The same woman who found $8,000 for Emma's vacation cannot find a penny for my education. The same woman who stole my future now offers pity instead of solutions. I understand, Mom. I guess I'll have to figure something else out. My voice carries just the right note of resigned disappointment. The good daughter accepting another sacrifice, another inequity, another theft disguised as family priority. You're so strong, Rachel. I know you'll find a way. After hanging up, I sit in my kitchen documenting every word of our conversation. Tomorrow, Emma returns from Paris. Tomorrow, the real plan begins. Emma's homecoming happens exactly as I predicted. Mom hosts a welcome dinner, inviting the extended family to hear stories about Europe and see hundreds of photos from the life-changing trip. I arrive with a grocery store cake and cheap wine, playing my role as the struggling older sister who cannot afford better. Rachel, you look tired. Are you working too much again? Emma's embrace smells like expensive French perfume, a scent that probably cost more than my monthly grocery budget. She glows with the confidence that comes from feeling supported, funded, celebrated. Just busy with school stuff. Finals, you know? I force a smile. The same smile I have perfected over 25 years of swallowing disappointment. The living room fills with relatives eager to hear about Emma's adventures. Uncle David, Aunt Sarah, my grandparents, even family friends from church. Mom orchestrates the evening like a proud manager, making sure everyone sees the photos, hears the stories, understands what a success this trip has been. Emma has such an artistic eye, Mom announces, scrolling through professionally lit photos of European architecture. This experience really helped her find her direction in life. Emma beams, showing off souvenirs and talking about the inspiration she found in French galleries. Mom was so amazing to make this possible. I know it was a sacrifice for the family budget, but she believed in the importance of cultural education. Sacrifice for the family budget. The phrase echoes while I sip cheap wine and watch my money being celebrated as Mom's generosity. Not one person asks where the funding came from. Not one relative questions how a family struggling with medical bills suddenly afforded a European vacation. I'm actually thinking about applying to art school now, Emma continues. Maybe the Art Institute of Chicago. This trip showed me that I have real potential as a visual artist. More school, more expenses, more family meetings about supporting Emma's latest dream, while Rachel figures out her own problems. The pattern will continue unless someone breaks it. That sounds wonderful, Emma. Really inspiring. My voice stays level, supportive. The good sister celebrating from the sidelines. Later, helping with dishes in the kitchen, Mom pulls me aside. See how happy she looks? How much confidence this trip gave her. This is why family sometimes has to make hard choices. Hard choices, like stealing $18,000 from one daughter to fund another's vacation, like sacrificing my education for Emma's inspiration, like teaching me that my dreams matter less than her comfort. You're right, Mom. She does look happy. I dry a wine glass carefully, methodically. It must feel amazing to know your family believes in you enough to invest in your dreams. Oh, Rachel, you know we believe in you too. Do you? I meet her eyes directly. Because actions speak louder than words, don't they? She turns back to the dishes, uncomfortable with direct confrontation. Tomorrow, I file the police report. Tomorrow, the family that values loyalty above justice learns what justice looks like. Detective Martinez has kind eyes and calloused hands, the look of someone who has seen enough family cruelty to remain unsurprised by anything. The police station conference room smells like industrial disinfectant and desperation. Fluorescent lights casting everything in harsh, honest shadows. So your mother withdrew $18,000 from your joint account without your knowledge or permission, and used this money to fund your sister's vacation to Europe. She reads from her notes, voice professionally neutral. 26,000 total, but 18 specifically for Emma's trip. I have documentation of every transaction, including Emma's social media posts showing her spending the money. I slide the printed evidence across the scratched table. 3 months of investigation condensed into a folder thick enough to prosecute a federal case. This is very thorough. Detective Martinez flips through bank statements, screenshots, timeline documents. Most family financial abuse cases have much less evidence. You've essentially built the prosecution's case for them. I'm a nursing student. Documentation is part of my training. The irony tastes bitter. Skills learned through education funded by stolen money, now being used to seek justice for the theft that ended my education. I need to ask directly. Do you want to pursue criminal charges? Financial theft of this magnitude is a felony. Your mother could face significant jail time. The question I have wrestled with for weeks. Prison would not restore my money or my degree program. But criminal charges would make this public record, would force Emma to confront where her European adventure actually came from, would demonstrate to extended family that actions have consequences. I want to pursue every legal option available. Criminal charges, civil recovery, whatever it takes to make this right. Understood. I'll need you to sign a formal complaint and provide testimony. Fair warning. This will tear your family apart. Family financial abuse cases are emotionally devastating for everyone involved. Detective, my family was already torn apart. I'm just making it visible. She hands me the complaint forms, and I sign with steady hands. 25 years of being the family's emotional shock absorber ends with blue ink on legal documents. 2 hours later, walking out of the police station into afternoon sunshine, my phone buzzes with a text from Mom. Rachel, could you help us understand the car insurance policy? Emma had a small fender bender, and we're not sure about the coverage. Even now, even in crisis, they call me for practical help. Even now, they expect the responsible daughter to solve problems created by the irresponsible one. But the responsible daughter has learned to say no. I delete the text without responding. Let them figure out their own insurance problems. I have legal proceedings to manage. The arrest happens at 6:37 a.m. on a Thursday, exactly 1 week after my tuition deadline passed. Mom calls from the county jail, her voice small and shocked, asking me to post bail and hire an attorney. The woman who stole my future now asking me to fund her defense. Rachel, please, this is a misunderstanding. I never meant for this to go so far. I'm your mother. Her voice breaks on the last word, the manipulation tool she has used my entire life. Be loyal to family. Family comes first. Family forgives anything. Mom, you stole $26,000 from me. That's not a misunderstanding. That's a crime. I was going to pay you back. I just needed time to figure out how. When? When were you going to pay me back? After Emma finishes art school? After her next life-changing vacation? After I'm 60 and still paying student loans because my education funding disappeared? The jail phone system cuts our call after 15 minutes. She tries calling back twice, but I let them go to voicemail. Her messages alternate between apologies and anger, between claiming innocence and blaming my coldness for forcing her hand. Emma shows up at my apartment that evening, her face blotchy from crying, her usual confidence replaced by confusion and desperation. Rachel, what have you done? Mom is in jail. Jail? Over some family money disagreement? Family money? I invite her inside, curious to hear how she frames $26,000 in theft. Is that what she told you? She said you were upset about some financial help she gave me, that you called the police over a misunderstanding about account permissions. I pour 2 glasses of water and sit across from her at my kitchen table. The same table where I documented her European spending spree, where I calculated the cost of my stolen future, where I planned the justice that is now unfolding. Emma, where did you think the money for your trip came from? She fidgets with her water glass, not meeting my eyes. Mom said she had been saving up, that she wanted to do something special for me after the divorce, to help me get back on my feet. $26,000 for a 3-week vacation? And you believed Mom had that kind of money just lying around? I didn't think about it that much. She said she wanted to help me. Emma's voice grows smaller. She said family helps family. Emma, that money came from my savings account. Every dollar you spent in Europe was money I earned working double shifts to pay for nursing school. Your hotel rooms, your shopping sprees, your first-class flights, you funded it all with my stolen future. The color drains from her face. No, she wouldn't do that. Mom wouldn't steal from you. I slide copies of the bank statements across the table. Look at the dates. Look at the amounts. Then look at your Instagram posts from the same days. Emma stares at the evidence for 10 minutes without speaking, her face cycling through disbelief, understanding, and horror. The Instagram photos she posted so proudly now look like crime scene documentation, each smile and scenic backdrop purchased with my stolen dreams. Oh God, Rachel, I had no idea. If I had known, her voice trails off, but we both understand the incomplete thought. If she had known, would she have turned down the trip? Would she have questioned mom's sudden generosity? Or would she have found a way to rationalize it the way she rationalized every other inequality in our family? What would you have done, Emma? Really? I keep my voice gentle, curious rather than accusatory. If mom had told you the money came from my nursing school fund, would you have said no? She opens her mouth to answer, then closes it. The silence stretches between us, heavy with uncomfortable truth. I want to pay you back, she finally whispers. I'll get a job, a real job. I'll sell everything I bought in Europe. I'll make this right. With what money? You've never held a job longer than 6 months. You have no savings, no assets, no credit. You live in mom's basement and drive a car she co-signed for. How exactly will you pay back $26,000? I'll figure something out. I have to. The same phrase I have heard my entire life. Rachel will figure something out. Rachel always does. Now Emma will figure something out, but with no experience in sacrifice, no history of going without, no muscle memory of choosing necessity over want. Emma, I don't want your money. Even if you could pay me back, the damage is already done. My degree program is gone. My career timeline is destroyed. My trust in this family is shattered beyond repair. Then what do you want? She asks, desperation creeping into her voice. What can I do to fix this? You can tell the truth. When the extended family asks what happened, when neighbors whisper about mom's arrest, when church friends wonder why she's facing felony charges, you can tell them exactly where your European vacation money came from. That would humiliate mom. It would destroy her reputation. She destroyed her reputation when she became a thief. She destroyed my trust when she chose your happiness over my future. She destroyed this family when she decided one daughter's dreams mattered more than the other's needs. Emma leaves without another word, taking copies of the bank statements with her. Through my window, I watch her sit in her car for 20 minutes before driving away. The car mom co-signed for, probably with money stolen from my account. My phone rings constantly over the next 2 days. Extended family members who heard about mom's arrest through the neighborhood gossip network, Uncle David, Aunt Sarah, my grandparents, all calling to hear my side of the story, all hoping this is some terrible misunderstanding that can be resolved with apologies and family meetings. To each caller, I provide the same calm explanation. Mom systematically stole $26,000 from my education fund to pay for family expenses and Emma's vacation. Criminal charges are appropriate for criminal behavior. Family loyalty does not excuse felony theft. 6 months later, the courtroom feels like a theater where my family's dysfunction is performed for strangers. Mom sits at the defendant's table in a conservative navy dress, flanked by an attorney who cost more than my annual tuition. She looks smaller than I remember, grayed by stress and legal consequences. The prosecutor, a sharp-eyed woman named Rebecca Stone, presents my case with clinical precision. Bank records, withdrawal documentation, Emma's social media posts displayed on large screens for the jury, $26,000 in theft documented with the thoroughness that comes from years of meticulous financial planning. The defendant systematically exploited her position of trust to steal her daughter's educational funds. Prosecutor Stone explains to 12 strangers who will decide my mother's fate. This was not a moment of desperation or a single error in judgment. This was calculated, ongoing theft that destroyed her daughter's academic career. Mom's attorney argues family dynamics, financial stress from medical bills, confused boundaries between family money and individual savings. He paints mom as a well-meaning mother who made poor choices under pressure, rather than a calculating thief who prioritized one child over another. Emma testifies on the second day, her voice barely audible as she describes her European trip. I thought my mother had saved the money. I didn't know it belonged to my sister's education fund. She does not mention the luxury hotels or shopping sprees, does not describe the first-class flights or Michelin-starred meals. When asked if she would have accepted the money knowing its source, Emma looks directly at me for the first time since the trial began. No, I would never have taken my sister's future away from her. The lie slides out smooth and practiced, but we both know the truth. Emma would have found a way to rationalize it, the same way she rationalized every other family inequality. The same way she lived rent-free while I worked multiple jobs. The same way she accepted financial support while I was expected to be independent. My testimony comes on the third day. I speak directly to the jury, describing 4 years of sacrifice, the precision of my financial planning, the systematic nature of the theft, and the destruction of my career timeline. I do not cry or plead for sympathy. I simply present the facts of what was stolen and what was lost. My mother taught me that family comes first, I conclude. But she never taught me that family means some members sacrifice everything while others sacrifice nothing. She never taught me that love has a price, and some children cost more than others. The jury deliberates for 4 hours. When they return, their verdict is swift and unanimous: guilty on all counts of financial theft and fraud. The judge sentences Mom to 18 months in prison, suspended to 6 months with 3 years probation and full restitution, $26,000, plus court costs and interest. Money she will never have, from a woman who destroyed her daughter's trust to fund another daughter's dreams. The restitution payments arrive monthly, $150 at a time. At this rate, Mom will finish paying me back in approximately 14 years, long after the statute of limitations would have protected her from prosecution, long after my nursing career should have been established. I use the money for community college courses, rebuilding my education one class at a time. It will take 3 additional years to complete my nursing degree through part-time study, 3 years of working full-time while attending classes at night. The timeline I planned so carefully is destroyed, but the destination remains the same. Emma moved to Portland 6 months after the trial, claiming she needed distance from family drama. She works at a coffee shop and shares an apartment with 2 roommates, experiencing financial independence for the first time in her life. We exchange Christmas cards and birthday texts, but the easy sisterhood of our childhood is permanently altered by European bank receipts and courtroom testimony. Mom completes her probation without incident, volunteering at a financial literacy program for low-income families. The irony is not lost on me. The woman who stole her daughter's future now teaches strangers about responsible money management, community service designed to address the root causes of her crime. She calls monthly, always hoping this conversation will be the one where I forgive and forget, where family loyalty trumps justice, where the responsible daughter absorbs this final betrayal like she absorbed all the others. These calls follow the same pattern: apologies mixed with justifications, regret tempered with self-pity, love offerings that come with conditions. "I know you're still angry," she said in last week's call, "but I hope someday you can see that everything I did was out of love for both my daughters." "Love for Emma," I corrected. "Theft from me." "You were always so strong, Rachel. I knew you could handle anything." The familiar refrain: strong enough to handle inequity, strong enough to sacrifice dreams, strong enough to absorb betrayal and emerge unbroken, strong enough to forgive crimes committed by family members who mistake enabling for love. But strength is not about enduring mistreatment. Strength is about recognizing when someone's definition of family requires you to accept less than you deserve. Strength is about walking away from relationships that drain rather than sustain you. The nursing school acceptance letter sits framed on my kitchen wall, delayed but not destroyed. Next fall, I begin my final year of education, funded by restitution payments and community college credits, earned through evening shifts and weekend study groups. 29 years old when I graduate instead of 26. 3 years stolen by family theft, but 3 years that taught me the difference between being family and being related. Today marks 2 years since Mom's conviction, 18 months since Emma's move to Portland, and exactly 1 week before I start my final nursing school semester. The delayed timeline feels different now, less like failure and more like resilience training. My apartment has changed too. The sparse furniture of financial necessity has been replaced with pieces I chose deliberately. A comfortable couch where I study every evening, a proper desk with good lighting and organizational systems, artwork created by local artists whose dreams were funded by their own savings accounts rather than family theft. The framed diploma from community college hangs beside my future nursing school certificate, evidence that education can be rebuilt one class at a time, that dreams delayed are not dreams destroyed. The path looks different than I planned, but the destination remains the same: a career built on my own merit, funded by my own sacrifice, belonging entirely to me. Emma called yesterday, her voice carrying unfamiliar notes of exhaustion and accomplishment. "I got promoted to assistant manager at the coffee shop," she announced. "It's not much, but I'm actually supporting myself for the first time ever." "That's amazing, Emma. How does it feel?" A long pause, then. "Hard. Really hard. I never realized how much energy it takes to pay your own bills, buy your own groceries, make every decision about money. I don't know how you did it all those years while going to school. You learn to prioritize differently when no one else will catch you if you fall. Rachel, I need you to know something. I found Mom's old checkbook last month while helping her move apartments. There were other withdrawals from your account, going back almost 3 years. The European trip wasn't the beginning. It was just the biggest amount." My hand tightens around the phone. How much more? At least another 15,000, maybe more. Payments to my credit cards, my car loan, even my rent that one time I got evicted. She never told me where the money came from. I just thought, I thought she was helping me the way parents help their kid. $41,000. 3.5 years of systematic theft. Not just my nursing school fund, but my emergency savings, my car replacement fund, my security deposit money for a better apartment. Every financial goal I had worked toward slowly drained away to subsidize Emma's lifestyle. Why are you telling me this now? Because I'm paying it all back. Every penny. It'll take me years. But I'm going to make this right. I found records of everything. I know exactly how much Mom stole from you to give to me. The word stole sounds strange coming from Emma's mouth. For 2 years, she has avoided direct language about what happened, preferring euphemisms like family financial confusion or misunderstanding about account access. Calling it theft means accepting her role as the beneficiary of crime. Emma, you don't have to. Yes, I do. I lived off your stolen money for 3 years while you worked yourself into exhaustion. I bought designer clothes with your tuition fund. I took vacations with your emergency savings. I was 28 years old, taking money from my sister who was working 3 jobs to pay for school. Her voice breaks on the last words. The sister who once justified every inequality as family dynamics now sounds like someone who has learned the weight of consequence. I'll send you $500 next month. It's not much, but it's what I can afford after my own bills. I calculated that if I can increase it by $50 every 6 months as I get raises, I can pay back everything by the time I'm 38. 10 years of payments, 10 years of Emma learning what sacrifice feels like, what it means to choose necessity over want, what responsibility actually costs. The education she never received while living in Mom's basement, funded by my stolen future. I'll accept the payments, I tell her, but Emma, I want you to understand something. This isn't just about money. This is about learning that your choices have consequences, that other people's dreams matter as much as your comfort. I know. I'm starting to understand a lot of things I never saw before. After we hang up, I sit in my kitchen calculating numbers. Mom's monthly restitution payments plus Emma's commitment equals approximately $850 per month. At that rate, I will recover the full $41,000 in 4 years, just as I finish nursing school and begin my career. Justice served cold, but served completely. The family that taught me sacrifice by taking everything will learn sacrifice by giving it all back. My phone buzzes with a text from my clinical instructor. Rachel, your patient care evaluation scores are exceptional. Have you considered intensive care nursing? The hospital is looking for candidates for their ICU training program. Intensive care, the specialty I always dreamed of but never thought I could afford. The additional certification costs, the extended training period, the competitive application process. Dreams I had set aside when my education funding disappeared, now possible because of restitution payments and evening class persistence. I text back, very interested. Please send me the application information. The woman who stole from me created a victim. The woman who prosecuted her created justice. But the woman who rebuilt her education one night class at a time, who learned to value her own dreams above family loyalty, who refused to accept theft as love, that woman created herself. Tomorrow, I start my final semester. Next year, I graduate with a nursing degree earned entirely through my own sacrifice and determination. In 4 years, every stolen dollar will be repaid with interest calculated not in money, but in lessons about consequence, accountability, and the true cost of taking from others. Family comes first, Mom always said. She just never specified which family member's dreams would be sacrificed for the phrase to be true. Now she knows. It was always supposed to be mine, but not anymore. The responsible daughter learned to be responsible for herself first, and that education was worth every stolen dollar, every delayed dream, every family relationship that died when justice was born. The piggy bank on my mantle holds $41 now, one for each 1,000 stolen. When the final restitution payment arrives in 4 years, I will fill it with $4,100 bills. Not as punishment, but as proof. Proof that some thieves pay full price for their crimes. Proof that some victims refuse to stay victims. Proof that sometimes the family member who survives is the one who learned to put herself first. The nursing school letter on my wall catches the evening light. Delayed but not destroyed. 3 years stolen by family betrayal, but 3 years that taught me the difference between being loved and being used. Worth every penny of the education it bought me.